Welcome to Near Falls with D. Hall. He's talking on bars and how they win it all. Yeah, it's just Near Falls with D. Hall. The final takedown, the glory or the fall. So loosen up, step on in, wrestle with the need to win. We're talking Near Falls with D. Hall. Ready or not, he's here to brawl.
What's going on, wrestling fans? Welcome into another edition of Near Falls with D Hall, a wrestling podcast. Today, so excited. This is the best time of year. My favorite project of the year, the 24-25 WPIAL Coaches Preview. So excited to bring this to you guys. I have a bunch of different coaches coming on from across the WPIAL. They're going to come on, talk about their schedule, expectations, up-and-comers, their leaders, their seniors, all that type of stuff. You guys know the drill. This is year 3 or 4 of me doing it. So pumped up to bring it to you guys. I really hope you enjoy it, and just hope you enjoy listening to these guys talk like I did. It was always a blast for me, and this year was no different. So without further ado, welcome in to the WPIAL Coaches Preview.
Welcome to the Near Falls WPIAL Show, where D.R. and Kaz are gonna tell you all the things you wanna know. Whether it's Trinity or Spencer Lee or Mr. Kurt Angle, just ask Vinny, WPIAL, yeah, Ken and Mac for sure. They got the interviews to soothe your soul, because it's Near Falls in the WPIAL.
Okay, joining me now on the call, we have head coach of the NA girls wrestling team. A first for me. I'm super excited to have him on and talk about the squad. Head coach Dan Heckert, how are you, sir?
Good, yourself?
Good. Did I pronounce that right, my friend?
Yes, you got it.
All right, sweet. Thank you so much for coming on, hanging out with me. Super excited to have you on, talk about the girls squad and talk about just the WPIAL girls landscape in general. But I guess first things first for me, just talk about your off-season program. How was it? Numbers, how's all that looking for you?
Yeah, it's a bit of a different year. We unfortunately had a lot of turnover. We had 3 seniors that had 89 total wins. That's one's a state finalist. That's hard to replace. And then we had I think it's 5 girls not come back. Most of them were starters. So we had to kind of restart with some things. We got some younger girls that are now stepping up and taking the reins and everything. So it's going to be a different year of, having girls that, weren't starters last year or are brand new stepping in and, filling some pretty big shoes.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure that, it being a kind of a fairly new sport, it's going to have some give and take, I'm sure. Talk to me about, some of the returning girls that you have, people that, girls that you're leaning on in the room. Who are some of those girls that we can kind of keep an eye on throughout the season?
Yeah. Big one will be Sophia Folks. She was out last year with a shoulder injury. She's a returning 2 years ago. She took 5th at states. So she's one of our captains and definitely a girl that we look forward to, making a deep run at the state tournament this year. So she's one of our cornerstones. Another one is Lorelei Bungard, girl that kind of flew under the radar last year, but progressed a lot and has been putting time in the off season here. So we're expecting to see some, good things from her. And then we've got another Heidi Radford, our 190 heavyweight. She was actually a regional qualifier last year. And she's another one that's been putting a lot of time in here over the off season here. So we're working at, good things from her. And then another one would be, we only have one senior now. That'd be Maya Scott. And she's someone that she's a 3-year letterman. So she will be, she's someone that didn't have the postseason she wanted to last year, but definitely someone that can make a deep run into the postseason.
Yeah, you talk about the things that they're doing in the off season. They're working really hard. What are some of those things? What is practice? Are they working out at the school? Is there a local club that they're working out at? What's that look like for these girls?
Yeah. So during the spring, we run Tiger Wrestling Club out of the room. I do a girls only club with that 2 days a week. But that's, as soon as we get done, that's all freestyle, and that's freestyle till July, till we take a break. But then when we come back in the room in right after Labor Day, that starts preseason, and it's back to just NA girls. And we've been going three days a week, lifting 2 days a week since the beginning of September. And it's been a little give and take because we got a lot of girls that are involved in, believe it or not, majorettes, cheerleading, band. So we're competing with, a lot of other things that are going on. So we don't get them all the time, but there's been a, steady stream of, all 14 girls have been, pretty consistent of coming in the room.
That's incredible stuff, and you love to see that. Obviously it's going to be a little bit of tug of war, it being a new process, but that's really good stuff to hear. Okay, you talked about some of the cornerstones, some of the girls that you're going to be leaning on. How about some new girls that we, as wrestling fans, might not consider or might not have heard yet?
One that just jumps out at me, and simply, no expectations on her because she's a first-year wrestler, but her dad is Brendan O'Connell, former WPIAL champ for North Allegheny. She's a freshman, first-year wrestler. So that's kind of neat. That's our first legacy.
That's cool.
We had the girls program. So it's kind of neat to have, someone wrestling for us that their dad was a WPIAL champ for North Allegheny. So she's one that, sticks out at me as, somebody that, may contribute. And like I said, it's just a kind of neat thing to finally have that first girl that their parents were associated with the program.
Yeah, and of course, you talk about, obviously on the boys' side of things, you guys have such a rich history of families that, kind of wrestle through, and, you love to hear that. That's very cool to hear that starting to bloom on the girls' side of things. Okay, what do you guys do as far as warm-ups? You let them play games? You get into some of that, or is it pretty strict?
Yeah, no, it's... having coached boys for so long, and then switching over here to girls, the one thing I've learned is it is a little different. And we've, and with a newer sport where these girls haven't been wrestling their whole life, we've got to have fun. And we've taken a lot of, our junior high coach is Mason Manville, came out of the Penn State room.
Not a bad one.
Yeah, so we get a lot of, they're doing some things right there, and we do. We play dodgeball, we play games. Believe it or not, we've got a TV in the room that's hooked up to the internet, and a lot of times after, towards the end of practice, if we've had a good practice or whatever, we'll turn YouTube on, and we'll do Just Dance for 15 minutes as conditioning, just because I like to make the concept. We work hard.
The question is, do you get out there and bust them?
No.
Oh, come on. Oh, man. You got to get out there and you got to show them. You got to coach them in all levels, right? No, I'm just joking. But that's great stuff, man. I love to hear that, you're influencing fun with wrestling as well.
Yeah. I mean, things like just this past weekend, we got together and we went bowling.
Nice.
So we're trying, we'll do some stuff over Christmas. We get them, little tiny cakes for their birthday and stuff like that. So stuff that I never thought I'd be doing as a wrestling coach, but there's a bond and a relationship with, that the girls team has, and it's more than just North Allegheny. It's girls wrestling in general. And it's a really neat concept to see the way these girls bond even as competitors off the mat.
Talk about, in that vein, the schedule. I know it's a tight-knit group, and you see a lot of these same opponents, these same teams throughout the year, but just talk about your schedule and what's it consist of throughout the year.
Yeah, we're actually fairly heavy on dual meets this year, and a lot of that was with having new girls, the dual meets guaranteed them matches, where we go to a tournament not knowing exactly what we were going to have. So we've got a good mix. Like we start the season off with Fox Chapel December 11th, but then a couple days later we got to Gettysburg Duels. And I've done that every year to make sure we've got at least one tournament that is a couple hours away, so we're seeing different competition, and that'll be a nice one. We'll have 6 dual meets.
Okay, so they'll get 6 matches. That's great.
And that's going to be the great thing for some of these new girls. I hope they don't go 0-6, but even if they do, that's 6 matches they got to really start the season off and just get some mat time. Based on who I know that's going to be there, I don't think we're going to see any of those teams the rest of the year. So it'll be real nice to see someone different. Then we come back the next week, and we've got, I believe we've got Canamac in a dual meet, and then the Pine Richland Invitational. And then we're off. We do not wrestle over Christmas break. We just practice. Something I learned, especially again going back to a new sport. These families, especially the newer girls, they're still understanding the concept of it and going to a Christmas tournament. A lot of them are going on vacation to see their grandparents and stuff like that, and just the aspect of having to make weight over Christmas. It was nice it splits the season up, so we get to just work on technique and everything, and then we come back in January ready to roll. We're hosting our own duels. 8-team individually bracketed dual tournament at the beginning of January.
That's awesome at the high school. That's great. Yes. Who's all at that tournament?
Let me see. That Trinity's there. Pine Richland, Steubenville from Ohio's coming. I believe Sagertown's coming down.
Heck yeah, man.
Sharpsville, Upper St. Clair, Mount Lebanon. So it'll be nice. We'll bracket it. Everybody gets 3 to 4 matches, and it's just a nice event. Last year it was just a regular duel where we had 6 teams and everybody wrestled each other. And this year we decided to, we can add 8 teams and, keep it a bracketed. So it worked out. And then let's see, after that, then we head out to Midwinter Mayhem. That'll be a
great one.
A tough tournament. We'll see some of those Central PA teams and everything. And then let's see here, the next week after that, we go out to Sharpsville. They've got a nice little tournament, and then we take a week off, and then we finish it all up with our tournament that has 34 teams coming to it. And we've got teams there's 2 teams from I believe we got District 1, I think District 11,
big
9,
one, big one. I love it.
Yeah, looking at the preliminary numbers, we're looking about right now between 350 and 400 girls. So it is some of those brackets are going to be.
I expect nothing less with you guys leading the charge. I love that, man. You guys are the flag bearers. I mean, that's great stuff, and it should be right here in the WPIAL. You guys are one of the premier schools in the WPIAL. You guys should be hosting an event like that, and I love that. That's great stuff.
Yeah. So, and then we roll into postseason, and it's a nice thing. We don't have to go anywhere. We host WPIALs, and we're also hosting regionals now.
Nice.
So we get to spend the month of February at North Allegheny.
Hey, it's not a bad thing, man. You guys always do a great job, and I love the setup. You guys are able to put a bunch of mats down, and able to seat a lot of people at the same time. Always enjoy the setup over there at NA. Okay, next thing I got. So we talked about your schedule. We talked about some fun things. Talk to me about your social media. Where can we follow along and watch your team?
Yeah, so we are on Twitter, TikTok. Let's see here. Try to remember them here. So we're on Facebook. It's NA Girls Wrestling. I think our Instagram is NA_girls_wrestling. Our TikTok is NA.girls.wrestling without the G at the end. On X, it's just NA Girls Wrestle. So yeah, we're on all of those. We're trying to, we've been pretty steady with that. We're going to get even better, especially with the addition of my assistant coach. She does that as kind of a living, so it helps out. So we're gonna, And we're tying the girls in a lot more of kind of giving them some responsibilities to help create some of the content and everything. So that's one of our goals this year, is kind of up our social media even a little more.
You touched real quickly on one of your assistant coaches there. Talk to me about your coaching staff. Who is helping you lead the charge?
Yeah, it's really just, we've got two coaches. Coach Maya, she's got a background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And while she hasn't wrestled, she's been working out of the Mat Factory the past couple of years, working with Isaac Greenlee. So for someone that has never wrestled before, she's got a pretty good background on it.
Got a lot of those feels, I'm sure.
Yeah, and she's in her mid-20s. She's still competing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so it works great. I mean, she's able to work out with any of the girls in the room and help push them. So it's been a great blessing to have at her this year, and we're really excited to see how it goes. She ran track for Duquesne, so she knows what it's like to be a competitor at the highest level. She runs our strength and conditioning, so it's been a perfect fit of what we've been looking for. As an assistant, we've always had a female assistant, but the girls we've had, like our very first one was Amanda Walker, a former national team member. I mean, you want to talk about,
not bad.
Having someone that really, knows the skill and everything and brings that clout, but she was also a college student. So we didn't have her every day and everything. So it's nice to have someone that is, a little bit older, that now they're, Coach Maya's there every day.
And that's great. And that's a key, to have someone to keep the girls accountable, I'm sure, and push them is just an asset that's unmatched. I love that.
So we've got our first ever wrestler wrestling in college, Lena Rumpler.
Yes.
She's state runner-up last year. She's wrestling for Baldwin Wallace and doing quite well. She's starting for them, and she won her first tournament.
That's awesome.
Went 4-0.
It's incredible.
Yeah, knocked off the girl she lost to at the Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic this past year. She beat a girl that took 5th at NAIA Nationals last year. She beat her. So great start to her career, and we're excited to see where that progresses from there.
And that's just impressive that you already have someone that's, of course, with the NA history alone, you're already having someone, trailblaze for the girls to look up to. I'm sure that's it's easy person to point to.
Yeah.
How about the last couple questions? I guess the last question I have. How about some goals or expectations you have for this team? I know that you have a lot of, you have a lot of tournaments hosting at your school. You got 14 girls. What are some expectations that you have for this squad?
Really, we knew this year was going to be a little different. Last year we were 8-1. The only loss was to Cannon Mac. And with what we've got this year, it's really a rebuilding year. So the goal is to see gains from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And we've got a couple girls that we expect to make some runs, hopefully qualify for the state tournament and everything. But ultimately, with only having one senior, this is a building year to really start setting us up for the next couple years. So that's our big thing this year, is we just want to see them getting a little bit better every day, so that again, we can make a run at the postseason, because ultimately it doesn't matter whether you win in December here. It matters whether you win in February and March. So if the girls can make progress and get to that, and we can, hopefully get a handful of girls to punch their ticket at WPIALs and get onto that regional tournament. It's, that's one of the harder things. It's pretty tough to, get to that regional tournament, because the WPIAL tournament is so strong.
Surprise.
Yeah, not much different from the boys if you look at last year, because it's just districts, it's the WPIAL, it's District 8 and it's District 9, and 4 girls make it out, and WPIAL punched a lot of tickets last year.
Yep.
But if you can get there, it's an 8-girl bracket, and that's depending how you look at it, two to 3 wins, and you're going to states. So it's not that regional tournament is smaller than the WPIAL tournament.
Yeah, WPIAL probably a little bit more deeper.
Yep.
Probably got to put more matches together, type of thing.
Yeah.
And of course, it being the WPIAL, there's I'm sure there's girls across that can wrestle in all different pockets.
Yeah.
Just like on the boy side of thing. Man, I love that kind of thing. So talk to me a little bit more about the qualifying process. So was it how many do they take out of the WPIAL then to the girls? 4, and then
So we'll take, I think we take 5 out of the WPIAL.
Okay.
And then they take 2 out.
So that 5th, 6th place match is probably barn burners.
Yeah.
Really good. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll take that. They take, because actually I think they're raising it to a 9-girl bracket this year. So I think it's 5 out of WPIAL, 3 out of District 10, and 1 out of District 8.
Okay.
But you may run into some scenarios where we may get a 6th place girl because the city league may not have a representative, or there was District 10 may only have 2 girls. For instance, so that because there were some weight classes last year where we actually took 7 girls.
Gotcha.
To fill out that bracket. So, but that's the way it looks. Is we're guaranteed at least 5, and that's why I say you make it, and you're especially you're sitting there in that top 4. You're looking at that's you put that type of run that you just put together in the WPIAL tournament again in 2 weeks. You've got a real good shot at making the state tournament.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's I love to hear that the WPIAL tournament is just as hard, if not harder, than the regional. It makes my heart fuzzy. I love that, my friend.
Yep.
Anything else for me before I leave you go, my friend?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I pretty much covered it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, sharing some of the insight on the girls' side of things. I'd love to have you on down the line on the season on a Tuesday live show. Near Falls and the WPIAL we'll be doing every Tuesday.
Definitely.
Give me some updates on the squad, on the outlook, on everything. But wealth of knowledge, and I really appreciate it.
Yep. Appreciate having me on.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks.